Coach Carthel, thank you for joining us here after Saturday morning scrimmage. Just kind of your overall thoughts on how this morning went.
Overall, I was really pleased. For second scrimmage, this was one of the better ones we've had since I've been here. I feel like in terms of just guys showing up ready to play. This practice number 15 of fall camp. Sometimes you get to dragging a little bit, and these guys treated it like game day and came out with the right mindset and started fast. I thought we did some good things opening up the scrimmage, running the ball, and that was good to see. O-line and running backs putting some things together, and defense made several good key plays and key stops as well. A lot of situational stuff. So, sometimes we build the situation really tough for the defense, and then exact opposite the next one, just to put them in game type situations. And I thought everybody handled it well. We walked off the field healthy. And so, that's all you can ask for on scrimmage number 2, practice number 15.
Coach, when you look at the offensive side of the football, what have you seen from the development? Obviously, you've got some guys that are really familiar with each other, from the quarterback to the wide receiver room, things like that. What's that development been like so far here in camp?
I think the biggest thing you look at is year over year, we're just playing a whole lot faster. And able to operate faster and less mistakes with everybody being in the system now for a year and a half, really, for the most part. So, you got a veteran quarterbacks that know how to operate, and that's the key. They're the guys that get it all started, and so that's been good to see. Obviously, we've got some good depth at running back. I thought all 4 of those guys really had some big runs today, and doing some really good things in pass pro. I've been pleased with that stepping their game up. Not every running back likes to block, and so they've really done a good job there in that group. Our receiver room is deep, and tight ends, tight end room looks much improved this year. So that's been good to see offensively in terms of year-to-year progress.
And, Coach, on the other side of the football, you've got some guys in some big leadership roles at all 3 levels of that defense. But there's also some new faces, like there is every year, that are going to have to plug in. Kind of how have you seen that work so far on that side of the football?
Yeah, our defense is built up front, and we returned, that nucleus and all those guys up front that had a really good, strong, solid year last year. One of the better fronts in FCS, and they're all back. And so, that's what's made it tough on our offense. They're iron sharpens iron. They're going up against a pretty good front each and every day. So I know that helps us. But they've done a good job. Coach Beck's done fantastic with that room. Corners have played at a high level. Safeties are really getting things down, and checks. That's where we lost some to graduation. So pleased with that. Jaden Southern, at linebacker, he's returning starter there and has a lot of snaps under his belt, and his leadership has been very positive. So pleased with the defense. We've put everything on them, try to just immerse them in everything in that playbook, and now we'll start to dial back as we start getting into the season, when we prepare week to week as to what we're going to do and how we're going to defend each opponent.
Coach, one more question for you here, kind of a health and wellness question. You're no stranger to the Texas heat, especially this time of year. Talk a little bit about how you develop your camp schedule in order to kind of keep these guys as fresh as possible. As you mentioned, practice 15, scrimmage 2, in order to get them to game week ready to go.
Right. No, we've studied that, and maybe in years past we're a little heavy on them, and really trying to keep their legs fresher. We've got the catapult, data that we can take now and really kind of see how much they're running and their maximum outputs, and how much they're accelerating and changing direction. So that really helps put some science behind the thinking. And, sometimes us coaches ain't always thinking straight. And so I look back, I tell these guys, man, back when we played, which wasn't that long ago, but my gosh, the game has changed. It's been good. We're still, I was talking to our leadership council yesterday. They've been so fired up about camp because they feel so much fresher. They're healthier. Their legs are underneath them, and yet we're still getting the same. You go back looking, we're still getting the same amount of team reps and teaching that we need. And so being a little bit more efficient, in layman's terms, we're following more of an NFL practice model than the old school college football practice model, and 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, and a lot more recovery and just fresh legs and getting quality reps instead of quantity reps.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Axel.